Hello friends, today I'm going to tell you an incredible but quite real story about a man who went from homeless to a millionaire. A story that proves the impossible is possible. Our hero is John, an ordinary guy who in his youth dreamed of becoming a cyber athlete. He loved Counter-Strike, global offensive, but never thought that it would change his life. But life had a different order, a series of failures, debts, losing his job, and then the roof over his head. John found himself on the street with empty pockets and no hope for the future. He collected change on the street, and when he had enough, he went to a gambling club to play. The people at the club shunned him, complained about the smell, but he wouldn't give up. He slept in shelters, ate scraps, and tried to survive. But one day, sitting on the cold sidewalk, he saw a successful businessman getting out of an expensive automobile. John made up his mind. He approached him and asked him for advice. What to do if you have nothing? The businessman, instead of walking by, stopped. He asked John just one question. What do you have? John hesitated. He realized that he only had two things left: his brain and the desire to change his life. So the businessman gave him a book on financial literacy and said, "Read this and take action." John took this as a sign of destiny. However, his real passion was in CSGO, and he realized that if he wanted to get off the street, he needed to become the best. He read a book in libraries, borrowed even more literature, and learned every day how the business worked. He then took the lowest paying job he could find, but his goal was clear: to accumulate startup capital. A few months passed. John not only started winning local tournaments, but also made his first money in cybersports. He started to get noticed, and one day he got an invitation to a semi-professional team. He noticed that the city lacked a low-cost food delivery service. He started small. He rented a bicycle, made arrangements with small cafes, and personally delivered orders. Thanks to his diligence and competent approach, the business began to grow. A couple of years later, John founded his own company, hired employees, and launched a whole delivery network. His service became popular, and investors themselves began to offer money. Today, he is a millionaire, a professional cyber athlete who became a legend in CSGO, and a man who proved, if you don't give up, you can achieve anything. And a man who proved, if you don't give up, you can achieve anything. That is John's story. It is not just a story, but an example that even in the most difficult situations, there is a way out. The main thing is not to give up. Learn and move forward. If this story has inspired you, please like, subscribe, and remember, everything is in your hands. See you in the next videos.